Senator from Spartanburg, Senator Martin, what purpose do you rise, sir?
See if the senator from Beaufort would yield for some questions.
Senator yields.
Senator yields.
Senator, are you aware that I promised you that I would read every page of this bill?
As with any other piece of legislation, you come to your own mind after reading it in its entirety. And you were frank with me early on, saying you hadn't really engaged on this yet, and that you looked forward to engaging and reading it. And I know that's what you do.
Thank you. And if you'll entertain me with some questions, I was going through it. I think the first 22 pages are. Did you know the first 20-something pages of this bill would probably make anybody that was wanting to use this for anything other than trying to get help for somebody like Ms. Richardson? It would make it very difficult. Did you know I believe that?
Not only very difficult, very expensive, and subjecting yourself to a felony if you were misrepresenting or diverting it for recreational use. And again, I respect the Senator from McCormick. He and I just simply disagree as to what a rational actor would do in that context.
Right. So on page 23, it's talking about, I guess in section 4453-2190, subsection B. No person or entity may have access to information contained in the department's verification system except for authorized employees. I think, and we may need to work on an amendment there, that's the first thing that gave me pause in this bill, was I believe, did you know, there needs to be a record of exactly who accesses this information and what information they access. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, and it also, if you continue on reading, it's an employee of the department in the course of his official duties or a state or local law enforcement officer in the course of his official duties related to a person who claims to be a qualifying patient. So, I mean, what we attempted to do here was recognize that a lot of this information is private. It's medical. It's you know, you got HIPAA concerns. So we limited the access that law enforcement would have to whether or not one is a participant in the program. That's all they're able to determine. They can't determine the conditions for which it's used. They can't have access to any of those things. That would be in the privity of physician patients.
So an employee or a law enforcement agent just couldn't go thumbing through this for no reason?
No.
Okay.
I mean, no.
All right, that's what I wanted to make sure of. Scroll on over. I did find one Scrivener's error, but I didn't write that down. I didn't have my pen out at the time, but we'll get there. Now I'm looking over on page 30, section 44-53-2260.
Let me get it to real quick here.
Okay.
Okay, I got you.
Subsection C. Nothing in this article requires an employer to make any accommodation for the use of medical cannabis products on the property or premises or place of employment. I guess, and then it goes on in there to talk about this article in no way limits an employer ability to discipline or terminate employees for being under the influence of medical cannabis products. The only thing I wrote out to the side of these sections are, what about opioids? I mean, don't people get under the influence of opioids right now? They could go to work and cause problems?
They could. What this attempts to get at, Senator from Spartanburg, is and we've had the debate somewhat in the context, well, this is what we're attempting to get at here. Does the right of an individual to access cannabis as medicine trump an employer's right to have a drug-free workplace if it wanted to? And where we came down in this bill is on the side of the employer and their ability to define the workplace environment that they wanted. It is possible to make a rational case for the proposition that this is medicine and it ought not be something that somebody's denied access to. I get that. In passing this bill, there's always trade-offs, and you try to balance the rights of individuals against the right of an employer, and that's where we came down here.
Okay, so you feel pretty good about that section?
I feel...
or as good as you can about it.
As good as I can about it.
Okay.
I mean, I recognize, I mean, the Chamber of Commerce was the one that requested this, and I wanted to get the buy-in of the business community, because any bill of this magnitude is going to have buy-in by a lot of stakeholder groups, which is why, you know, sitting down with law enforcement, even though they were opposed to the bill, I wanted to know what their primary concerns were. Sitting down with the medical association, sitting down with the faith community, sitting down with any group that wants to be heard on this. I try to figure out what their concerns are, and I try to weigh them and address them in the bill.
Okay, I'm going to move over one more page to page 31, section 45, section 44-53-2265. That's where it talks about nothing in the article shall require an employer to permit, et cetera, doesn't affect the ability of them to enforce a drug-free workplace that you mentioned.
Right.
My question is, by that wording, they can allow this, correct? So that employer could allow this
Yes.
if they wanted to. There's nothing that prevents that, right?
No,
Okay.
of course not. That's correct.
All right.
And I would add, I think most employers probably would allow it. But again, recognizing here that there may be some employers who don't, we sided on the side of employers here as opposed to the individual.
Okay, thank you. Let me scroll over to my next questions. Okay, had to go all the way to page 52. I guess
What section is
page
that, Senator?
52, let me go back. I think the section number's on page 53. Section 44-53-2480,
Okay, got it.
object number 4, where it talks about unlawful user of a controlled substance.
Right.
Does this apply to illegal opioid use, like the people that buy the opioids off the street?
Yes.
That still applies to that, right?
Yes.
Okay. And Senator, that was the only questions that I wrote down after reading this bill, like I promised you, except for the one I didn't write down was the one I talked to you about. Are you aware that I have an amendment coming to deal with my concerns on the vaping?
Yes.
Okay. Senator, I appreciate, and I'll take the podium on my amendments at the appropriate time, but thank you for answering my questions.